What's going on?
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for granted and you know I'm leaving. I'ma take what's mine with the webs I'm weaving. I could take this crowd from seeing to believing. Got a taste for blood and my tongue keeps bleeding. From the words I spit, so sharp, so freezing. So cold, behold, frostbite they feeling. I could tear you apart or I could go heal them. Don't believe in fate, don't believe in ceilings. I just need a taste till my mind starts feeling. I don't pace myself, I grind on kneeling. Got lust for change, I just love the feeling. I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times. Cause anything worth doing is a tough climb. And I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times. Cause anything worth doing is a tough climb. Cause I'ma live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I don't lie at night, I be in my feelings. I'ma be fine, need time, and I'll still be winning. I live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I don't lie at night, I be in my feelings. I'ma be fine, need time, and I'll still be winning. I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If you wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Dead Air Live on the Dead Air Full Spectrum channel. Look at all those people joining us in chat already. They know what's coming. But thank you guys for being here tonight. This is our Sunday night live show here on the channel with myself, George Lopez, and with me, Mr. Ken DaCosta. And for the next 2 hours, incredible topics and guests in and around the paranormal. So I hope everybody out there is doing well. I hope where you're at, your weather's faring well. We just got a little update from our producer, Bill Forte, about Roswell not doing too well. Huh, Ken?
Well, some flooding apparently, which came as a bit of a surprise to me. I guess you get those desert rains that can be pretty brutal. So apparently this is what happened in Roswell. And Bill showed us some pictures of the aftermath with, sinkholes and places being flooded, cars off the road, cars overturned. So pretty brutal down there. I don't think there's any alien involvement, but I'll never say never.
No. Ken's been very, very busy, been out on the road doing a couple of locations, investigating, and with good friends near and far, some that came and visited from California. From California. Mm-hmm. And they must have really enjoyed themselves. They got a chance to go to the Payne House. I think they went to Lizzie Borden, correct?
Yeah, they did the rounds here. Both Cheryl and Melissa came in from Los Angeles. Melissa actually brought up in Massachusetts, so she was the Sherpa guide for Cheryl for most of it. But they managed to make the rounds, Lizzie Borden House and Payne House Museum. A couple of places up in Provincetown, of course, Salem. That was a must. And one other location that we have said we can't disclose, very exclusive club in Plymouth, Massachusetts, that we had an absolute blast with. Cody and Story joined us for that. And so everybody's putting together some clips of it that we hope within a week we will be able to share with you once we kind of edit them and make sure that, there's no breadcrumb trail to a couple of places. So we'll see how that goes out, but more about that tomorrow on our Patreon show. Hey, Brendan, what's up?
Yeah. And speaking of producer Bill Forte, we are simulcast on kgradb.com. You'll find this also on Twitter, youtube.com, Global Radio Live. Right here, if you're listening, you can always check us out visually at youtube.com at Dead Air Nation. Also catch us on Facebook, Dead Air Full Spectrum. Our personal Twitter, dead_spectrum. And of course, there's always the incredible Patreon, which we do our town hall each and every Monday night. Our town hall crew is in the chat right now. Ask them about it. If you guys are fresh to this channel, you want to know a little bit more about that, you want to know about what we're doing during that time, just ask anybody in the chat. They'll be more than happy to tell you how much they enjoy it, the interaction, the questions that we have for you guys and you guys have for us. So we really do enjoy that. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also, the thumbs up for our content. And most critically, the reminder bell, because that helps you get notified each and every time we have content that's coming onto the channel.
That never gets old.
No, by no means. Actually, I was thinking about adding the sound effects, one of those big church bells, and ringing with that one, but we'll save that for another time.
We got it in the budget. We can do it.
We are going to just brush over this topic, guys, before we bring our incredible guest on tonight and an incredible location. But the topic has reared its ugly head once again. And Ken and I had a little bit of conversation about it here today also. And it's, of course, circling around Jacqueline Nunez and the Conjuring House and still out there creating chaos. And there's something that I wanted to address on it, Ken, and I'll be very, very brief. I know you and I talked a little bit about it earlier today. But for what is being brought to the attention of the public via social media in any of its many arms, saying, stay away from this place and boycott and watch. People just look for the drama. That'll still be ticket sales for them. There's that risk. What if somebody gets hurt at this location? And people get excited about it and say, well, I want to be there when that happens. Oh, thank goodness. That makes me relevant. It makes me important. I can tell people I was there when that person was injured or killed. It's just another form for this individual of advertising, another form of promotion. Negative as it may be, but the old adage, negative publicity is still publicity, and that's all this individual seems to care about. So, I understand it's still going to be out there, but most of it, as Ken mentioned to me today, should be with authorities. The information should be certainly given to the authorities, but, going on to, tell people on whatever platforms you're doing it from, there are those who have listened and who have canceled their visits and have not made reservations for visits, but there are so many others out there who just seek this out. And you can tell that by the other shows that piggyback what's happening and use that for their platform, and thousands and thousands and thousands of views. People who just get all worked up for it because they find that to be something that can be, in their twisted mind, entertaining, that there's a possibility of somebody being hurt at that location. So I said my 2 cents on it, Ken. Whatever you'd like to add, sir.
No, I think most people understand that this is not going to be resolved on social media. Eventually, there will be agencies involved that will address this. Dragging feet, to put it as kindly as I can, because I made a post today, kind of paraphrase what I said, that the people who are sworn to serve and protect are tied up in knots right now with legal and constitutional issues. You can wish death on someone, and hey, that's First Amendment stuff, as grotesque as that is, but you're not saying that I'm going to do it. So there is an element of deviousness and lucidity for someone who otherwise has some serious issues, but just smart enough and savvy enough to understand that the words being spoken do not entirely come back on her. And then there's
Right.
the ranting and the lunacy of it all, which has come to be pretty much, business as usual there. But again, people who are in that situation have this moment of 5 minutes of clarity to talk their way in and out of things.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a lot of that going on right now. And I think I'm going to be proven right on that. I'm not saying that this is all because, trying to get a book or a movie deal like a lot of people are. I think there's a problem there. But those people can turn it on and off in a minute and definitely understand how to cover their ass, okay, when it comes to legalities and things like that. So this is, to me, sort of terrorism in a way, where you're just trying to cast fear and doubt and unsettle people. Sad situation, but the people that are directly involved know how to deal with this stuff, and I think they're doing a good job of it. Just keep all the receipts. And that's my 2 cents on it.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, so many of the people that are involved with regards to this are friends of ours, people that we know, people that we care about, and the scary part is the next time it might be somebody that one of you care about, that decide that they're still going to take the risk and go there. So, just kind of, I would say, lean in the direction of good judgment and make decisions wisely when it comes to anything like this. Forget about the paranormal part of it. I mean, hell, what we're going to be talking about tonight uh, makes the other one look like a summer camp. So
Quaint.
uh, which is a great segue. I definitely want to get to talking to this gentleman and about
We
this
do.
incredible location, Ken. So if you would kindly do the honors.
Okay, spoiler alert for everybody tonight. Our guest was kind and gracious enough to send us a plethora of
Yes.
clips, audio, visual, photographic. So
We
you're going to want
scored.
to hang in there tonight
Yeah.
with us. We've got a lot to cover, and we're going to try to get to them all. And he'll give us a little background into each one of these. And you're going to want to hang around for this because there's some really interesting stuff here. So, without further ado, following his passions in all paranormal fields for over 47 years, Barry Gaunt currently serves as the Kentucky State Coordinator for Connecting Consciousness and the Museum Director at the historical and very haunted Octagon Hall Museum in Franklin, Kentucky. He's also the Managing Director of the Night Stalkers Paranormal Research Team and is also an ordained minister who offers spiritual warfare, spiritual counseling, and spiritual cleansing, along with counseling ET abductees, that's interesting, and MK Ultra experiencers. He's also contributed to the books Willow's Weep, The Beginning, Real West Virginia UFOs, Sightings and Close Encounters by someone we've had on the show, Dave Spinks, and Historic Haunts of Sumner County, Tennessee by Donaldin Hartley. Currently writing 2 books of his own, which should be available in mid and late 2025. Octagon Hall, The Plantation That Survived the Civil War, Its History and Haunts, and The Bare Naked Truth, and we'll find out why in just a minute. So let's bring on and give a warm welcome to the Bear, Barry Gaunt.
Good
Thank
evening,
you so much.
everybody. How you doing, George? How's it going, Ken?
We're going good. That was a mouthful right here.
And that's the short
mouthful. But Barry, it's a pleasure to have you in here tonight. We're looking forward to covering a lot of ground with you. And like I said, spoiler alert, we're going to get into some clips that I found pretty interesting. And I can't wait to share those with our audience. But started off, Barry, how you doing down there in a great state?
Hey, it's October, and it is a blast. We thank you so much for having us on. Talk about Octagon Hall. It's a wonderful place, and October is driving me nuts. We've got our major fundraisers that we do currently during the month of October. Is every Friday and Saturday night we do novice hunts. They've been all sold out. We've had some excellent teams out that volunteer to run people through the house. We take 12 people. They come in at about 7 o'clock at night, and they stay until 1 o'clock in the morning trying to have a paranormal experience, and we guide them through that. And it's amazing how many of them do, and it's amazing how many of them leave early.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We've had yesterday was a great group. They had great intent, and they saw and they experienced quite a lot of stuff. But they hung in there until 1 o'clock, so it was great.
Well, those of us who have done paranormal events, we don't want anybody to run out. But there's a little part of us that kind of likes it when they do.
Yeah.
Little.
100%, Ken. 100%.
Let's do let's do a quick biography of you with regards to the paranormal. Again, you've been there now, what, 14, 15 years?
I've been at the Octagon Hall for 15 years now.
15 years. How did you get started there?
I had a very good friend who had an epiphany. Billy Bird had the epiphany of turning the Octagon Hall Museum into a museum back then. It was a rental property during the time. And you could have rented the Octagon Hall for $300 a month and 300 acres to do whatever you wanted to do. But it had a serious, yeah. And it had a very serious problem. People wouldn't stay in the house more than a month. Most people left after 2 weeks. I've got a paranormal investigator that I actually tried living in it. He was doing well with it. He kind of liked it. But his wife, on the other hand, about day 10 said, sorry, if we're still in this house on day 14, we're going to be divorced.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm going to
Billy,
do is I'm going to let you finish that off and then continue with Ken. So, because he's got a whole bunch of material that you sent him that we want to make sure we go through. But go ahead and finish that story for us.
Yeah, no problem. No problem, George. Thank you.
All righty then. Go ahead, Barry.
You know when it came through and he had this epiphany. He started doing it in 2001. Him and his brother helped out. They formed a nonprofit called the Octagon Hall Foundation, LTD. And they started fixing up the house and getting it ready for a museum. I think they were both skeptical. I don't think they had any idea about the paranormal. And until Billy has his experience and he starts seeing figures and hearing disembodied voices and so forth at a very time age. I came in 2001, and it caused a major problem for me. I didn't get back in there till able to walk until 2006, late 2007. So I came and did odds and ends and helped out there and volunteered, and then I stayed ever since. Been up 2009. So
yeah. How so let's talk a little bit about the activity there. 15 years, you've seen a lot under different conditions, different type of people coming in, atmospheric conditions, all of it. Do you find there's any particular times of day or a particular time of year where activity there seems to ramp up more than others?
Well, the thing about it is it's haunted 24/7. There are certain days you can go into the house. It's as calm as can be. You can go out to lunch, come back, and it's like somebody hit the light switch and you went, oh, this doesn't feel good. So it changes all the time. Yes, as far as yearly concerns, February, extremely crazy month. February is when 9,000 Confederate soldiers come to the house that are wounded. And then 2 days later, after they leave and they left their wounded there, 5,000 Union soldiers come up there and take over the house for about a week and cause all kinds of havoc, dispatch all of the wounded, and leave them there on the property. And that is a big month. And in fact, after our next novice hunt, will be on February 14th and 15th. And hopefully there'll be a lot of activity there is at that time of the year. So.
Yeah.
But I will say, I'll tell you what, Ken, it's haunted 24/7.
Hey, listen, as most active places are, but sometimes there are anniversary dates where.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting story. I think the owner's wife, when Confederate soldiers were hiding in the cupola, she stocked it with bees. So when Union soldiers might go up there and try to breach the cupola, thousands of bees would attack them. So it was kind of an ingenious, whatever it takes. But I thought that was if I can use the word cute, little story.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is that what happened with the Union, Andrew becomes a super sympathizer. They were already a sympathizer of the South. But after getting beaten, his wife getting her arm chopped off by a Union soldier for helping a housemaid, it got serious there. And Andrew was a 33rd degree Mason. And he had some things in that house, and he put that house there for a reason. And he started using some of the things that he knew to hide Confederate soldiers. Because once they brought in the martial law, after the Union takes over Franklin, Kentucky, and they have almost the whole state, they installed martial law, and it was illegal for a Confederate to come home. So, you got a death sentence on your head. You're fighting against the Union. And at that point, Andrew says, I'm making this a safe house. And there's hiding spots in there. And the house gives them up when you want to. I think there's more hiding spots that we haven't found yet. We're looking at it in ground penetrating radar. We find graves all the time. So it's a very interesting place. And plus, he has a tunnel. There's a tunnel in the house, and it runs in two different directions. One into a 40-foot room in the ground, and it runs underneath and between two barns and goes out into a cave system that drops down about 60 feet at an angle. They can escape that way and get into the house. So it's got a lot of history. It sits on Palo Indian land. It's near the 37th parallel, if you know what I'm talking about. So you're going to see UFOs, you're going to see strange creatures, you're going to see all that kind of stuff there. It's an interesting property, and it all combines to where we got to start saying, "Hey, the Hall has it all." But at the same time, it's kind of funny because some of the people that have been coming here lately call it the Skinwalker Ranch of the East Coast.
Right. So I assume that it's not just investigations. You probably give regular walking tours in there as well.
We give, exactly, Ken.
Historical
we give
tours.
walking tours every week. It's Wednesday through Saturday, 9 till 3 p.m. And we do that, and it's a historical tour. We don't allow people to investigate and everything else because of the fact that, one, you don't want people in the house doing things that they really, a lot of people watch TV and they think, oh, I can do that. And they don't know anything really about the paranormal. You've got to be very careful with the paranormal. And so it dates it back to quite a period of time. But yeah, the house is a beautiful house. It's a octagon shaped house. It is a wonderful textural wonder, when you actually look at it.
So how many times do you get people on historical tours say, hey, you know something? They're not looking, they're not in there and investigating. They're looking into the history. They could care less about what we do. But how many times do you have people saying, hey, not for nothing, but I saw something, or I heard something, or right?
Oh yeah. It is that kind of place. People will have their clothes pulled. They'll get their hair tugged. They'll hear disembodied voices. Doors will shut on them where they won't be able to be in a room or anything like that. Plus, we allow them to take photos. We don't allow them to take videos, but we allow them to take photos for momentum. And you wouldn't believe, in some of the pictures that I sent you are from those kind of people, other than a paranormal investigator that had just caught some phenomenal stuff, and they don't know anything about it. And they're not trying to, they're not doctoring up a photo or anything. They're just coming and say, I got this looking out the window. What's this? What's that? So.
Yeah, I think we're looking at the basement kitchen. Well, I love that kind of stuff.
The basement,
Barry.
that's the winter kitchen. And that's where the little girl, the first Caldwell's wife, bore 3 children. And that's where Mary Elizabeth, there's a lot of people out there who say, oh, Mary Elizabeth didn't die. She didn't burn. She didn't do this. Yeah. As I was working on this book, we've been doing a lot of research, and we have letters from the family that was Fanny's daughters, and they were born there, and say that, yes, she burnt in the fire. And, just chasing genealogy around everything, it goes a lot different ways. Great picture of the master bedroom, or what we call the green room, and you can see why we call it green. Very active area, and so is that winter kitchen we just looked at.
Yeah, I'm loving the color of the walls. Chef's kiss to whoever picked that out. It's
what Billy and Barry did is actually peeled back all of the paint and all of the wallpaper to the original, and then they matched it to the closest that was there. So that is as far as we can do at this day in 2001 and 2002. That is the representation of what it would actually look like inside. So,
well, one of the things about the photographs, when you're talking about people who have no dog in this fight taking them, I love that.
Oh, I do too.
I love that because maybe they're out of their curiosity. People go on these things because they're not necessarily investigators. Maybe they're just curious. They want to see what it's all about. But, when they're snapping away and they come back, what's this?
Yes, exactly.
And I love that kind of stuff because there's no preconceived idea. There's no suggestion. They're just taking pictures.
Exactly. They're just taking pictures and it's popping in there and they're seeing it, and that goes back to the old adage that when you are looking at stuff like this and photos and how cameras have changed so much, because the human eye can only see so much and the cameras go beyond that. People a long time ago, I think you probably remember in the UFO field, people say, if you didn't see it, it's not there. Well, no, it means your camera picking it up and it's invisible to you because your eye can't see that part of the spectrum. But that's why we developed infrareds. We developed full spectrum cameras so we can see more of it. So that's the whole ordeal. But yeah, and then it's up to me. I got to tell you something. I've seen some pictures and I'm going, holy crap, but I got to try to debunk this thing because this is, heck, I want to make sure this is, and a lot of, some of them you can say, yeah, okay, I can see why that may be. That person's not a person. It's a glare off of this and it's causing this.
Yeah,
and,
sure.
Yeah, but then you get those photos that, holy you just go, yep, that's paranormal. There's no doubt about it. I can't explain it. And we're blessed to it. In fact, we have over 10,000 photos of paranormal activity that have been taken not only by paranormal investigators, but by just visitors. Paranormal teams, we've had 1,100 paranormal teams Octagon Hall. And it continues to grow.
Right. I got one other question because I promised my
365, almost 300.
Okay. I don't mean to interrupt. Sometimes your screen freezes.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
I don't know if you're done or not.
Oh, that's okay. We'll just take it the best we can do, brother. Don't worry about it.
Right. Okay, so I promised myself by 8:30 we start getting to these EVPs and disembodied voices, but I got one question because I got to save some for later. Um, what types of activity are most frequently reported there? Is there any that tend to stand out, or is it just an array of things?
It is a total array of things.
Mhm.
And that's the difference between, you can have the residual stuff happen there. You're going to hear footsteps. You're going to hear uh, voices, disembodied voices. You're going to hear some of that stuff. But then on the other hand, you actually will see shadow figures and you'll hear footsteps that are really being created as they're following you, or that way, full body apparitions. That's one of the things about novice. We always tell people, look, if you're here to experience a full body apparition, it's a rarity, and shadow figures and all that stuff. But they seem to pop up quite a lot at Octagon Hall. So you do get to see that kind of activity. The equipment is all over the place. Doesn't matter what you bring in there; it's going to be active. We have a lot of people that think that their equipment's broken because it's not supposed to do that, but it's the house doing it, and they'll play with stuff all the time. So, but yeah, you can see it's weird when we're sitting in the house. And the one thing that's strange about that, bricks wide around the outside. He was put 3 rows of brick around that house.
Mm-hmm.
So that 3 rows of brick, they get very quiet in the house. So you can hear it very well when something's upstairs moving around, like a big bang and a body will drop and you'll hear it dragging it across the floor. That kind of stuff.
Love it. Love it. So I want to get into some of these clips to give everybody a little bit of flavor of this place and exactly illustrate what you're talking about. If you want to set it up first, or we can come back on the back.
I don't even know what order you're going. I sent them in there. I don't know what order you're using, if you're using that order, but we'll talk about it afterwards or whatever.
Yep, they alphabetized themselves. Imagine that.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. So the first one we are going to play is a basement EVP featuring Mike and Beth. All right, so let's play this, and I've screen captured a sound program, and it's going to replay itself one more time after you hear it. And what I did on the second half, it's going to show you the graphics, because we know we don't like to tell people what it is that we're hearing, but for the purposes of doing a show. And of course, hey, listen, if you think you hear something else, I know Bear would love to hear it if it's subjective, but here's the first one, basement EVP.
I'll babysit you. I'm going to sit right here and at the edge. I'll be right here. Yeah, I'm going to sit where I can see because...
Yeah, she's wanting to get...
I'll babysit you. I'm going to sit right here and at the edge. I'll be right here. Yeah, I'm going to sit where I can see because...
Yeah, she's wanting to get...
Okay.
Now, here's what's interesting about that one. On your website, you specifically state the age requirements to attend a paranormal investigation there, and it's 18 and up, is it not?
It is. It's 18 and up. Yeah. Many kids at midnight. We have a ton of kids. Only adults 18 and over. And this downstairs in the basement in what we call the TAC room. And the TAC room we had, it was kind of like a semi-private hunt. We were helping some people learn about the paranormal. And this one lady was very frightened to be in the basement and be in this one area. So we were setting her up, and the two investigators are going, "Okay, I'm going to babysit you. I'm going to sit right here, you, so that you're comfortable and everything else." And during that time, a little girl's voice comes out and says, "Am I going to be safe here?" And then later in the thing, you hear her say, "Who are you?" to the person that's in the room that she's in.
So speculation time. Speculation time. It's in the basement. Mary Elizabeth, perhaps? How old was she when she passed there?
A lot of people say 6 or 7. We say 11. We show her being in several different things. But from what the family has reported, what the letters have said, and what we have there, we assume, we do know that she lived for 7 agonizing days before she died, after she was burned.
Oh my!
So she's been in the house. You know, one of the strange things about it, and I guess I need to explain this to everyone. Plantations back that time, and there was 3 plantations very close to Octagon Hall, which was very strange. You know, normally, and they all had 1,500 acres, but they were very close to the Dixie Highway, the main way to the south back then, and they were all antebellum homes. So what happened during the Civil War? Families were separated. Dads didn't come home. They couldn't do crops. They didn't do the things. So this became a hub for children and mothers to come to, and the moms would work, and the kids would get schooling. They'd have a place to eat. So there was a lot of kids there. That's the hard part. We actually believe this is a young girl, a slave girl by the name of Emma, and she hangs up underneath the stairs. She likes to hide under the stairs there. And she was about 6 years old when she passed. So I think this is Emma.
Okay. Well, let's get into another one here. And it is labeled, "Bitch, that happens." And then
Yeah, this is great. I can set this one up. We had a person coming down doing newspaper articles and everything else, and wanted to bring her. She came down, did an article for us and everything else, and then she brought her boss down and takes her, and she's giving him, or I'm going to trust him down, and you can show him the places and everything else. So she's in the basement again, and this time she is actually in the room where Mary is burnt, and she is talking about being burnt, Mary being burnt to her boss, and you can hear her saying it, and then all of a sudden the spirit comes out and goes, "Bitch, that happens." And then you hear this weird laugh afterwards from another totally different ghost going, "Hey, I love that one."
I love
All
it.
right. So here it is. "Bitch, that happens." Right here, live on Dead Air.
This is where Mary was the struck on fire. And that everything was mostly twisted. This is where Mary was the struck on fire. And that everything was mostly twisted.
There you go.
Freddy Krueger,
Strange,
ladies and
isn't it?
gentlemen.
I know, right? Opinionated.
Exactly.
I love it. The next one we're going to play is "What Would EVPs Be Without a Creepy Voice Once in a While?" And this is a simple acknowledgement of a yes to a question that's asked. And it sounds like maybe it's a little labored. You know, we don't know what it takes to respond. So I'll play this for you, and then Bear can kind of talk about it. So here you go.
Did they take good care of you here? Yeah. Did they take good care of you here? Yeah.
Didn't sound like they took
Creepy,
good care. Wow.
And that was an investigator who was asking a slave that was there at the house if they took good care of them. And that was the answer it got. And it is that, ooh.
I'm sitting here with my jaw dropped because, and I wish I had it loaded up somewhere here, but an investigation that I did, but it was a female. Yes, the exact same thing with that hissy S at the end. And
Yes. Yeah.
can you briefly, and sorry to interrupt, Ken, but I'd like to know the negative energies that you guys encounter there, or the investigators encounter there. Do they use the D word at Octagon Hall?
We don't allow our investigators to do it. Use the D word. I hate it because yes, there are those things. The hall doesn't have any demons. Look, and we've been doing this for a long time, and we know that there are. Every day, George and Ken, I walk into the hall and I go, "Hey, good morning, everybody. How you doing?" I talk to them, and every once in a while you'll hear a "hello," and then one morning you walk in and you get a "get out," or you get called some terrible name that you don't at 9 o'clock in the morning you're not expecting to hear.
So attitude.
And, yeah, I mean it's just hey, look, we get up every morning. Some mornings we get up, we're not happy.
No, you're just trying to
Same
get on
thing
their
with-
good side, trying to be neighborly, trying to
Yeah.
be friendly. This is what you get.
Yeah, it's all about respect. It's all about your intent, what you're going to put into it,
Sure.
But yeah, there are negative things that are there. Look, that was, you have to understand the Civil War and all the things that family went through. Yes, there was great times there, but there were some horrible, awful times there.
Yeah.
So you're going to run into the things that may be a little iffy, and sometimes people bring their own stuff with them, if you understand what I'm saying.
I do.
You know?
But it's
And-
kind of, when we're using the D word, it sounds more to me like it's a residual effect of trauma more than
Right.
it is
Yes.
something from the neverworld. Because, hey, listen,
Exactly.
there wasn't a lot of happy endings at this place,
Yeah. Oh, right. Exactly. And one of the things that I try to explain it to a lot of people. I don't know. In all the years I've been investigating, I've been sitting at people's houses, and it's like you get that. And we've done hundreds of investigations in residentials, and you get there, and it's like they know you're coming. They don't want you there, and the first thing that's going to crop off their mind is going to be, "I'm a demon," and I'm going to go, "You trying to scare me? I mean, you're not a demon." And that's an honest reply to a ghost that's just going, "Hey, I'm going to," my belief. But being and having Father Casey Shrugs with us, we have had those cases and have done that for the Catholic Church and know what they are, and they're not going to sit there and go, "Hi, I'm a demon."
It would be a lot easier if they did.
Yes, it would be.
Yeah, I hear you, Jeff. Yeah, right. I get a little testy too. The next couple, actually, because you do some novice hunts, you kind of separate it.
Yes,
An
we do.
experienced team comes in, and I'm sure you vet them if you don't know them. Like, okay, what's your background? That's one of the things the internet is good for.
The
But
ones
you
that
all-
are less. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
mean to.
but you-
Yeah.
But you also have some novice hunts, people who want to find out what it is. Maybe it's their first one. Maybe they need a little more guidance.
Exactly. And that's what we're there for. Or some people that just are wanting they have an interest in it, and they are curious about it. They might have heard
Sure.
books when they were kids, and they go, "Okay, I want to see what this is all about." And we try to have. And
We're
we
getting
work
intermittent
at doing
calls.
that. You know how paranormal is. You got to throw all kinds out there, happen every day. But fortunately, at the hall, there is always, if you don't see anything visually and your equipment's not running, guess what? You're going to catch excellent EVPs.
Right.
You know how it goes. There's that sauce and meat and potatoes. It all goes back and forth.
Now, the first clip on a novice investigation, and I've been there to one of these, exactly the same thing happened. This is the scream, where there's three of us in a room and you hear the scream and you're all kind of looking at each other like, what in the hell did we just hear? So on a novice hunt, whoever you were, maybe first time out, big thumbs up to you. But
we're talking a disembodied?
Yes, disembodied, George.
Yeah, definitely disembodied. And it's funny. You get them and you hear them. I found one today. It was too late for me to send it to you. And if I'd have sent you that one, you would have it'd have floored people. But I'll try to send it to you just so I can get your opinion of it
Sure.
a little bit later. But it is. Paranormal doesn't pick a time when it's going to do anything. So you may be at the table just talking, and that's what they like the most. They'll interact with you when you're just, if you're relaxed and being yourself, that makes them relax and being themselves. And they will do that. But that scream came right when we did not expect it.
Now, the next one I'm going to play is on a novice hunt. Correct me if I'm wrong. This sounds like a spirit box was used.
I'll have to see what it is, if it is
hello.
or not. Yeah. The hello, it is a spirit box. And the weird thing about the spirit box is that sometimes like that, it's a quick one. And the voices you hear and the time you hear it, but it is, a spirit box can be a great tool sometimes to get what you're looking for.
Right.
And this is just one of those spirit box things that just pop right in.
Well, what I kind of like about this is the context to it, because the response you get seems to be what you're asking for.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
I mean, it's not saying spaghetti in answer to your question.
Right. It's the answer to your question. Exactly. It's showing some kind of intelligence.
I know. So here's the clip.
Hello, Andy.
What's up?
Hello, Andy.
What's up?
And you see the reaction of the other people.
Yeah. You get a kick out of that. I would too.
Who's the spirit that they're communicating with?
That is Andrew Jackson Caldwell, and that is the owner and the builder of the house.
Wow. You're on a first name basis. You call Andrew Caldwell Andy?
I am one of the only people, and he is. It's really funny. Last night was a perfect example.
You guys are like this. You're tight.
Yeah, exactly. So I can call him Andy, and no one else can. And last night was a perfect example how Andrew was. And you have to remember men from the 1840s to the 1860s. They did have wives, they had all that, but when they met together, they did not socialize with women. The women socialized in another area of the house, and the men socialized by themselves. It was the old adage, sorry, ladies, that are watching tonight, but it was a different time. But it was like only speak unless you're spoke to. And Andy was showing some of that last night. So it's Andrew Jackson Caldwell. And last night, he wouldn't let me call him Andy because there was other people there. So he wanted to respect, so I had to call him Andrew. And we had a communication with Andrew for over 20 minutes and all kinds of equipment going off, just responding just like doot, 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 doot. And it was awesome. But he wouldn't answer any questions from any women, only the men.
Been there, done that too.
Yeah.
It's like Yeah, well, if I don't know, I don't think the kids are watching tonight. Cody and Satari, when we were in a place and the message clearly came back to her, I want to talk to the men. And
Yep.
that's
And
not
I know
going away
Cody's
for her
story.
anytime. We take every opportunity to remind her of that. It's like the men are
Yeah.
talking here. Oh,
Exactly. It's just
Yeah.
part of the spirit that you're dealing with and the way that was.
It was the
You
time.
know, it's like going in. Yeah. It's kind of like going in and saying, what questions do I ask? Hey, what's your favorite TV show you're dealing with a spirit from the 1860s? Don't do that.
Well, when someone says it would be cool if you'd speak to us, and it's like, well, I don't want to make you cold.
Cold.
Put
Exactly.
a coat on.
Right. Exactly.
All right. The next one I'm going to play is two voices. I think there. The first one is I can't hear you, and the second response is I see you.
Exactly.
Okay, so the first voice is not
Two
an
different
investigator.
entities. One, and I can't remember what happens with this one. This is from another team, and they cut it. So all they get is give you the EVP. But talking with them and everything else, and we've heard similar things all the time. The ICU is very, very popular. There's so many different EVPs, but yeah, let's go ahead and let it rip.
Okay, let's give it a shot. Okay, it's a quick one. But
It's a quick one. You know, some of them are that way. We like to try to get it set up a little bit more of them. And I cut some of them down a little bit to keep some of the stuff out just so it's easier. But this one, that's the way it came to me. I like that because I've heard that in the house before.
yeah,
And that's something, you know, when you're used to hearing it and you hear a same lady spirit say, I see you. It's almost like you're playing tag.
yeah, the inflection. You know, it's so short. I'm going to play it again because I want to hear that inflection of the voice.
Can I
Guys,
interject from just a
Sure.
different set of ears?
Yeah.
It seemed like more they both agreed. We can't hear you, and the woman sounds like she's saying very quickly, "What are you saying? We can't hear you. What are you saying?"
deep.
So if you can you hit that one more time? I mean,
Yeah.
we're not going to do this with every
I hit it
EVP,
again.
trust
See
me.
what happens.
okay.
Oh, no problem.
Again, it's so fast.
It is.
And it's
It
subject
is.
to interpretation. But yeah, that's what I was picking up.
It's rough, George. I've been doing this as long as Bear. I've been doing this 50 years, and that's stuck in my head now. I can't get rid of it.
Exactly. That's the thing that happens. As soon as you start listening to it and you hear it, that is the way it's going to be. And I love it when other people hear something different.
Sure.
But every time I listen to the dang things, and you know, and Ken, you, like I said, you've been doing it for a long time also. The weirdest thing that I hate is when I'm doing an EVP and I work on it, I bring out an EVP and I go, I know what it says. And for some reason or other, I got to go to the bathroom, go somewhere else, come back, listen to the EVP, and it says something totally different than what I thought it was.
Been there.
I know it. And a lot of times when I put these through sound programs, I don't filter them because I don't want to compromise the file. I may take a heater out of the background.
Right.
Or I may amp them up if we're going to play them on a show because
Yes,
you know, everybody listens on different things.
Right.
You know, earbuds, headphones, speakers. So, and that happens more than you think. I think it says this, and then when I clear it up and amp it, I'm like, where the hell did that come from?
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
Before we go to break here, this is an interesting one because Caldwell owned 25 slaves.
He at the end of the Civil War, they
Okay.
made him take the census, and he had 25 slave families there at that time. He did own up to about 38 at one
Okay.
time, plus other indigenous servants, because he had other people that came in and helped during the busy times. He had 1,500 acres of farms.
So you recorded what you believe is a female slave. Where was this bear? Where was
This was upstairs in the sick room. If it's the one I think it is, where she is, basically the lady says, "The men have left us now," and this lady comes out with a very southern drawl and very and tells you something. So I'll let you play it and let them figure out what.
All right, we got a couple of minutes, so let's finish up the first of the hour with this. I like this. I think you're going to like it too.
Men, just leave us. That's okay. You'd rather have us ladies here, wouldn't you? It's bad. Men, just leave us. That's okay. You'd rather have us ladies here, wouldn't you? It's bad.
Yeah.
Great evening.
Oh,
Yeah, that is, that is a classic Southern, just like putting it out
that's
where it is.
That's the kind of
Even
spirit
using-
that you want to connect with again.
Right, exactly.
Even down to the colloquialisms, like it's mighty
Yes.
quiet here.
Oh
Just
yeah,
absolutely brilliant.
yeah,
Um,
beautiful.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Okay, we got to go to break. We're at the top of the hour here, guys. We are spotlighting Octagon Hall. Barry is our guest, the Bear, and we come back on the other side. We've got more EVPs and some other evidence outside of the spirit realm that we're going to get to tonight. So you guys stay with us. You're watching Dead Air Live on the Dead Air Full Spectrum channel. We'll be right back after the break. 3 minutes.
Hey members, the new KGRA DB app is now available on iOS and Android devices. Gain on-demand access to any KGRA DB programming. Download any show directly to your mobile device to listen or watch on the go. Go to the App Store and search KGRA DB.
As UFO reports come in from around the world, the Mutual UFO Network, MUFON, is there. We continue to explore new cases and build our massive database. We share our information with the world in a number of ways. If you would like to be part of our investigative team, you are always welcome. What could be more exciting than exploring the UFO question firsthand? Join MUFON, find your friends.
You're listening to the KGRA Digital Broadcasting Network. We provide unparalleled coverage of trending news in the world of ufology, cryptozoology, and paranormal phenomenon. Whether you're watching our video live stream or listening to one of our audio programs, you are getting the best from world-renowned researchers and hosts, guiding you through topics the mainstream won't touch. Miss one of your favorite programs? No problem. Head over to the members area at kgradb.com for access to our massive library of award-winning content. Make contact, stay connected, only at kgradb.com.
Hall, about the same length of time as we do our show here. And again, it's so much fun. Not to mention all the other things that you saw that we do out there, including
we get to cuss a lot more.
Yes, we do, and bitch and moan. Everybody that's in there knows us a hell of a lot more. So $3 a month, guys. Again, coffee costs more, especially if you go to Starbucks. But no, definitely come and check us out sometime. Just you stay with us for a month. If you don't like it, then you can head on back out again. But I guarantee that you will enjoy it. A lot of content in there for you guys to check out for sure. But thank you guys for staying with us tonight. Our very, very special guest, Barry from Octagon Hall. I'm going to bring him back on the screen with us right now. We are going through some of the amazing evidence. That last clip was just dynamite.
I love it. I loved it.
And there's more. Hey, I wanted to mention something real quick, seeing as how we're shamelessly promoting ourselves. I know a lot of new faces, probably friends of Bears or somehow love Octagon Hall. Just wanted to extend a welcome to all of you to our channel. Listen, if you want more of this, hit the subscribe button for the low cost of nothing. We've got a lot of content, a lot of different guests on here. You might like it. Give it a shot. So thank you for all showing up tonight. Great to see you here. Nice to meet you. Thank you so much.
Thank you all for being there. Thank you, chat room. I'm not looking at the chat room. Can't see it right now. So I apologize for that. But thank you all for being here and for your support. I know we've got some Octagon Hollies out there. So
holler at us anytime.
And I don't know who out there is not aware of Octagon Hall, but you can just about catch it anywhere. Go to the website page, and you can see there some of the places that they've been on television. A&E's My Ghost Stories, My Ghost Stories Caught on Cam, terrifying, most terrifying places in America, The Dead Files, Syfy Channel's Ghost Hunters, Wraith Chasers, Haunted Collector, the History Channel, the Discovery Channel, Destination America Channel, Haunted Discoveries, Nick Groff's Death Walker, My Haunted Hometown. I mean, it's just incredible the resume of this location and what's been going on. And luckily on many of those also, Bear, you've been spotlighted talking about this place and you being there. So
yes, we have, and that's one of the things. I'm nobody special. I'm just Bear. I've been doing it for a long time. I love what I do. I'm ticked off currently right now the way the paranormal is and how they behave. But other than that, it is just it's a pleasure to be able to be associated with a haunt like this and be there. And there's so many great investigators out there that I tip my hat off to. And I've got to say a special thank you for the that were personally there so far this season. We had the Elite Vixens paranormal team out. We had Night Stalkers. We did a weekend, and we always like to split it up because Bear don't do the Night Stalkers used to do them all, and when you had those 5 weekends, that was terrible. But and this last weekend we had PJR out of Chattanooga and Northern Kentucky, and he's been there. Mark, if you're on the show tonight, thank you so much. Mark Holland is the head of that. He's been coming to the hall for 20 years, and they're one of those teams that come back every year, and they stay two consecutive days, and so it's a pleasure to have those people. And then next week we've got Proof After Paranormal. And they've been at the hall a lot, so look forward to them. All these are sold out, and then the next one will be in February.
Yeah, a lot of different. Kalani was there also, Ghost Center.
Kalani's been there.
Yeah.
Zaffis has been there.
That pain in the neck.
Yeah, yes, that's right. That's right. No,
hey, don't be so. If I make it to Kentucky, because we're going to be pretty close. If I end up knocking on your door,
Ken,
like
you knock on
unannounced
that
and
door,
say,
we'll
Bear,
gladly
listen,
to you.
you know, got to use the bathroom or something, and then I won't leave.
Oh, I got you. Well, you just come on
That's
down.
how I operate. You know,
Come on down. If you're in there, you know, I'll send you my phone number and everything. You can get it pretty easy. Yeah, we'd welcome you with open arms. We'd love to have you out there.
You know, where hasn't Zaffis been? Good question, Melissa. All right, I've got 3 more of these clips I want to get to. Don't go anywhere because we're scratching the surface here now. There's a lot of photographs and a video I think is pretty interesting. So, Bear, when you spend enough time around a place, they get to know you.
Oh, they do.
Andrew Caldwell gets to know you, and it seems like, you know, you're doing a little something here, and I'm not sure what it is that you can keep, but you were given permission to keep something. You want to tell us what that is? Or
I was just walking upstairs, and I don't know if she's just letting me keep the video, because at one point, and sometimes I've seen evidence on a camera or on an EVP, on a recorder, hear it, and then go back and run it right back over again, and it's missing.
Good plan.
And it's like, okay, they let me know that they did it. They showed it to me, but they didn't want me to keep it. So I'm not too sure if she's actually just saying, Bear, you can keep this. So, you know, it's just like saying, hi, I'm here. You can keep it.
Okay, let's find out if Bear can keep this audio or not. Here we go.
Upstairs. Upstairs. And it's really funny. She actually calls, I believe she says in the first part, hi, Bear, you can keep
I hear Bear. Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to go back. Here we go.
Upstairs. Upstairs.
Yeah, like, here, Bear, you may keep this.
I got it.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It might be that.
Thank you, Don. I got it. I got it that time. I got it that time. Now, this next clip, this is another one of these really cool knock your socks off clips. And I got something similar years and years ago when we were doing something and we were talking about the history of the place.
Mm-hmm.
And we got an EVP that said, how'd they know that? Which was one of the coolest things. It was in a Revolutionary War fort up here in the north.
Right.
And you got something similar. So this immediately was kind of like, yeah, been there, done that. So I'm going to play this and we'll hit it.
Well, let me set it up for you first. Played with the lady, with her boss, and it said, bitch, this happens, that happens, and then you hear the laugh.
Yep.
This is one of 3. I didn't give you the third one, but this has happened. She's in the same spot, and they came as she's telling the story about downstairs in the basement and what's down there, the tunnel and so forth. They replied to her there, so they are continually speaking to her as she's telling the story.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's cool about the video, about this EVP, really, to me.
Yeah. Well, there's a question I want to ask about that on the backside. I think I know what the answer is, but let's get through this first. So
yeah.
Here you go.
So at the beginning of it, the tunnel goes actually out to one of the barns. They figured that out. That's super cool. So at the beginning of it, the tunnel goes actually out to one of the barns. They figured that out. That's super cool.
Yeah.
Very we're smart people. That's how we can figure it out.
Figure it out, right? Exactly. Well, back then they probably thought it was hidden pretty well.
My question, Bear, is it seems like at first blush, this is one of these places that has that combination of intelligent and residual activity. Fair enough?
Yes, it does. I believe it's more intelligent. I couldn't find the one. I go in and I tell, I was preparing for a event. I was speaking outside, and I always used to run a few clips like we're doing tonight to get the people all fired up for doing it. And I go into the house and I said, "Hey, I'm in here. Nobody else is in the house. Totally." I said, "Do me a favor, jump in front of a camera, say something. Just tell me you did it, will you, please?" And about 3 minutes go by, me alone downstairs in the house on the second main floor, and the bell rings. And it rings again. Then I hear these boot stomps. And I went, "Man, I know exactly where that guy's at. He's heading right towards the banisters. He's going to come over the edge." All of a sudden, I heard a disembodied voice come out and says, "Did you hear that?" And I went, "Yeah, thank you." He said, "You're welcome." And I heard the footsteps go back into the room. And it's all on tape.
I love the cooperation.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. It's wonderful.
Now, the last one I'm going to play here before we, and I think that we'll start off our next segment with a video.
Okay.
Because it's right here and it's easy for me to press the button.
Excellent.
This might pull at your heartstrings a little bit. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. When we have child spirit, a lot of times we always hope the best for them and they're at peace and reunited with their families. And that seems to be the case for the most part. But this is kind of poignant, and it's a little. Now, where is this the same location as the first time we heard a child there?
No. This is actually in the nursery.
Okay.
Upstairs in what we call the nursery.
Okay, so this is pretty self-explanatory, and here you go. Nice.
And we believe that is Mary Elizabeth. Mary Elizabeth, that is the voice that when we hear Mary Elizabeth come through, it's the same voice all the time. I mean, I think that is odd in itself, but she does have that same voice and everything else. And we were up there talking, and we were getting ready to do it, and that was just an open space. A lot of times we'll leave our recorder somewhere. You know how that goes. You'll leave your recorder in there, and you're in another part of the upstairs, and then she can hear you talking, and she wants to know, will you play with me?
Mm-hmm.
So
do you acknowledge that, Bear? I'm sorry to jump in, George. I mean, do people leave things for her?
All the time. Yeah, that room is full of stuff for her, and she'll play with a ball. I was looking for one of the evidence of a ball that was sitting on the ground, and it was taken by, this is what's great, which I love. A 13-year-old boy was doing a tour, and he was taking snapshots, and we told him to take 3. And, we try to tell everybody to take 3 shots so we can see what's happening in the video or in their camera. So him and his dad are doing it, and they're downstairs, and there's a ball there, and the ball is laying on the ground. You can see it laying on the ground really good. You see the ball move, and the next thing you know, you see the ball up in the air this high, and there's the floor, and he caught it all. I couldn't find it for you. I wanted to show you that one because that was just, and it's not, you don't have to be a super paranormal investigator. It's just the luck of the draw. You know how it is. You're there and something happens and you got a camera on it. Hallelujah.
Yeah. I'm astounded by, this is the second one now, the one with the yes, and if Ken will just bear with me for a second, this is the capture that I had for the yes, so that you can see that yes hiss comes across, and you'll hear the sound of a door slamming right at the end of the yes. So now,
You're the one that plays with Kyra Jade.
okay, and now you present this one, which I know, and Ken can maybe back me up on it. I've heard something similar like that in EVPs from other locations.
Yeah.
And that hurts. And that hurts.
It does. It does. Yeah.
Because you wonder how many of them are yearning for that. And,
Exactly.
you know, God bless Ken's interaction with Cody and Satori when they do the knocking method, because they at least get some sort of clarification that they're okay and they're with their loved ones. But
right, exactly.
It tugs at your heartstrings.
It does, George. One of the things I will tell you, when you go on to paranormal investigations at a residential home, you never know what you're going to get into, what you're going to see. You try to pre-do it as much as you can, but when you get there, and the ones that I always like the best is when they're afraid of something in their home, and it turns out that it's their grandmother or grandfather that is there, and you can bring them together to do that, and let them listen. And actually, sometimes you can have a conversation with them, and that eases the thing. And the family are so thankful, and that's one of the greatest things we can offer for paranormal. It's awesome
to be able to bring through a familial spirit.
Right, exactly.
To them is other than telling somebody they have nothing to worry about. Because you figure out that is probably the absolute best result that you can get.
100%. 100%. Couldn't agree more, Ken. It's awesome. That makes you, when you leave that, you are happy.
Right. Want to move on. Pardon me. I want to move on to a video you sent me, Bear.
All right.
This is the door.
This door happens a lot, and this one was very interesting to me because it happened at night. No one is in the house, and it is you get to see. We're used to seeing a door shadow now and then and everything else. This is 100% different, and you know exactly by looking at it. I think people can identify that that's not the door shutting in the shadow of the door. It's
well,
something.
I think it's important that you point that out, that there's no one else there, because people.
No one else there. And
we'll look at this and, there's somebody.
I got to tell you something. When I saw it, I loved it, but I spent the night trying to debunk the dang thing. Every way we could figure it out, and couldn't do it.
I did too. Full disclosure.
Yeah,
I wanted to see how open the door was, if it was up against the wall, if you could fit a person in there.
Yeah.
Billy Sims is already calling it, right, Billy? You'll love this. I'm sure they will.
Hi, Billy. Fellow paranormal investigator from Night Stalkers. Thank you for being here, Billy. I love you, brother.
Yep, that goes double for us. So, hey, without further ado, you tell us what you think. Here is the video.
Play that again.
George says, what?
There it is.
There's two shadows. There's two shadows.
Either that or the same one, because the wall and the bed are 90 degrees. So it might. I think it also bears mentioning that this is in night vision. This is in infrared.
Yes.
Which would tell you why a shadow would even show up there, because it's being backlit by the infrared.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
I'm
guess
gonna play it one more time.
if there's
'cause-
multiple lights, then yes, I can see how it would be. If it's the single infrared pointing at that door, you see one shadow, which it may be the door, it may not be, and then the second shadow, which it may be the door, it may not be. But two shadows go across.
Let me interject something to you. This is from a camera on the other side of the room from the hallway, looking into that room. In the room that door is shutting in, there's a camera, an IR camera that monitors that room also, and that's the nursery. And it is right above the door. So it shoots the light down that way also, so that it affects the shadow. So each of the floors that we have, we have some rooms that are larger rooms. We'll have two cameras in them working in each direction. And this one has one looking across the way and one inside the room. So there is another IR camera inside the room above the door looking at the closet and the bed and so forth.
But there is no camera or IR behind the camera that's taking this.
No, absolutely not. Yeah.
Yeah, because what you would see if you have one above the door is you would see one shadow here and one shadow here because the difference in angles. These are right behind one another. Go ahead, Ken.
Okay.
Shadow 1, shadow 2.
I see the same shadow.
I do too. That's what it is.
It comes down the wall, goes on the bed, and then you got two 90-degree angles there. So one of them looks like it's going first, but I think it's the same shadow. With that in mind, let's look at it again.
Sure.
It's like the Zapruder film.
Of course.
Here's the shadow. See it on the bed now?
Yeah.
Finishes. So I think it's the same.
Yeah. And actually what it is the shadow is actually behind the door. It moves in front of the door, which casts that shadow onto the bed. And then you can see it go off, and then there's nothing behind the door.
Yeah. We're forgetting the part that the door closed.
Right, exactly.
The door closed. Let's look at it again. No.
And we've lost our audio up there, but it has a bell. That door shuts so often, we have a bell on it, so you can hear it shut and it rings the bell and rings it, so we know to look at it. So it happens about every 6 months.
Yes, Melissa. I almost couldn't. Pretty amazing. Joseph is still blown away. Yeah, that's a good one. So here's another question, because I want to get into the photographic. We haven't even touched the photos yet, folks. Let me see. Why is this house? Is this a common design? Why is it in an octagonal shape?
Two reasons. One, Andrew Jackson Caldwell was very afraid of storms. And when he was younger, he was involved in a tornado. And the shape of the Octagon house breaks wind, if you will. And
He's getting it out. There we go.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
All right.
Yep. So when so the house is made so that the wind pushes off of it. He was so bad about it, he fortified it. He puts 3 rows of brick around the house to make it stronger. But the other part about it is not only his residence, he was the 33rd degree Mason, and he used it as a Masonic meeting hall. So there's very interesting things. We can talk about that later, but the part about it is the octagon is the most revered symbol by a Mason. And it also comes with I'm sure you guys might know, Octagons are considered from way back when as a spirit trap.
Okay. I thought that it might be because you have a window in every side. If you were trying to be observant of your surroundings, then there's always a window.
He didn't build it as strategic, but it also, you get wonderful wind flow through it. But the way that, and if you're familiar with some of the Masonic terminology, the cardinal directions are very important in their meeting house.
Mm-hmm.
So in his home, the front door looks directly to the west. You have a sign of a 33rd degree Mason on it, which is the cross of Salem. And then you go through that and into a straight line path to the back door looks directly to the east. The rooms on the front of the house are larger because they make that window smack dab in the middle of the house. And he does.
Mm-hmm.
One looks north, one looks to the east. And the other 4 windows of the house, there's 6 windows around the house, all the way on each floor, are set to where the equinox comes in. They're all at an angle where the equinox comes over. So the house is set up so it has winter, spring, summer, and fall in it on all 3 floors.
Right. So are there still, Mel says, do not mention Abraham Lincoln in there. Okay. Mel's got a picture with Zaffis, so that.
Yes, that's true.
We're just gonna.
Melvin is also a Night Stalker. He's we call him
get all over John tonight. Are there a lot of or any artifacts in the museum that date back to Caldwell or Civil War times that are there in the house?
Many
documents.
The Civil War Museum. So I've got there are Bog River Confederate swords. The first sword that was made by the Confederacy. There are a lot that were used in there that even date back to the 1812 war, the War of 1812, because the Confederacies didn't have any stuff. So the Confederate Army brings the stuff their dads had when they go to the war.
Right.
So, and they were using N-Stars from 1812. The Union had all the good stuff, and they were continually raking them out and making them. And it took a while for the Confederacy to be able to build their own stuff. And the first one that we have. So yes, and we have slave tags there from. We have all kinds of different historical stuff. The house is full of history.
Which is why they cut off shipping lanes to not have them upgrade.
Right, exactly.
So what happened to the stuff between the time that now somebody was in there after the call till like 1954, and then it was a rental place? What happened to all this stuff? Did somebody store it?
A lot of stuff. Well, you see, when it becomes a rental property. So when it becomes a rental property, all that stuff is taken out and everything else. The hall is 95% original. The second owner removes the hidden staircase in it, makes that back room behind the dining room his kitchen. And in his memoirs and what he writes about the hall, that is the only thing that he is sorry he ever did, was taking out the hidden staircase that went up to the gals room. And that's how, 1840s, 1845 Indians. Kentucky is a different place. And you got a house like that, something's going on, you're going to have to get your daughters out of the way. And that was a very narrow staircase that went up that way. We actually we recreated it so that it would fill the space, but it's a little bit wider, and it's at the same steepness, so we don't let anybody go up it. It is very steep, but that's what happens to the house, and it starts becoming a rental property, and it starts off with the first people who live there, and you're always gonna get this, and George and you can know when you're talking to people about paranormal or their experiences, they'll say, there was nothing. I don't believe in that stuff. And so when a house is settling, a house is deadly, or whatever excuse they want to use. But the odd thing about it is if you speak to the children, their children that will tell you the story afterwards, they're all going to go, oh, yeah, that place was haunted. We had experiences this way. And the kids who were their friends that went there would go, I'll never spend another night in that house. So, yeah. But most of the stuff was gone. We've found quite a lot of stuff in the ground there. And it's present also. So, and a lot of it is Billy's collection. He had a suttery, and some of it is my collection also. So. And we also have wonderful volunteers who have donated some incredible things to the house, and that's what makes it a wonder.
You were fortunate to get some of that back, because when family gives it up, then everything disperses. You know how it is. Never to be
right. Exactly.
All right, so I want to get into some of the photographs. George, is there anything that you wanted to touch on before we run the gamut here?
No, I want to get to these for sure. I want to experience visually what this place is like. I'm stuck in Florida, Barry. Everybody else is, traveling around, going to these great locations,
I lived in Florida for 10 years and couldn't wait to get out. I missed the fall and the season so much. That's what drove me back out to head up north.
Well, we're in our fall right now. We're in the 80s.
Yeah. I remember those August. Believe me, you take a shower at 6 o'clock in the morning, you can walk out and you're wet at 10 minutes later.
We're nice up here in the north. I'm in Rhode Island, Bear, but I'm what you refer to as up here. I'm called a swamp Yankee. And
there you go.
What that means is I grew up around farms and goats and chickens and pigs and ducks and hunting and fishing. So,
that's my forte. I was born in West Virginia, traveled around. I went to Ohio, and then professionally traveled. I lived in Miami. I lived in Colorado. I lived in Atlanta. I lived in Detroit. I lived in Illinois, back to Detroit, and then got transferred to Bowling Green, Kentucky. Here I am.
Be where your feet are, brother.
That's exactly right.
That's what I always say. All right, so I'm going to put up these photographs, and some of them, and you can, as soon as you're going to recognize them right away. So I'm just going to throw them up. And we got about a half hour to get through these. So number one, here you go. This is Dave Spinks.
Oh,
Dave Spinks captured that.
Good friend.
This is one of those very unusual photos. Dave's the only person. Him and David Weatherly spent 7 days in that house, and I visited with him on and off. But Dave can tell you some excellent experiences about Octagon Hall, and he showed up and done some many events there for us. And Dave is part of our family. We just we love Dave, and we love Serenity Jenny, just special people. But this is Octagon Hall is known for picking up pictures of some strange things. Strange bull-like creature. We have several pictures of that. Odd-looking cryptid of some sort. And this is kind of deceiving because the black thing looks like it's shooting out of the body of this thing here is actually a shadow figure. But he has no head. That's a tree far behind him, and it just blends in together. But if you look underneath his left hand, he's holding something in his arms. And if you would be able to blow that up, it is a skull.
Oh, yeah. Look at that, yeah. The headless horseman. Horseless.
Yes, exactly. And that is in the slave graveyard.
All right, let's move on to the next. This is also by Dave Sprinks and looks like a figure peering around some hedges there.
Exactly. And notice he's got high boots on. Again, this is a figure with no head.
The one thing that I could say about Dave Spinks, if I were going to characterize him as an investigator, he is an extremely patient investigator. He'll wait and focus on an area, just waiting for something to happen. And it doesn't surprise me the captures that he gets.
Dave and I have hunted together for many times. We've done documentaries. We've been at our team has been up to the when he had the week before he tore it down and cleansed it, and now he's working on another location right across the street, very close to him. Not in Indiana, but this is in West Virginia, and he's taking investigators there, and it's past that house has got several suicides in that house. So we're waiting to get up there and do that. He wants to keep it as a documentary place, a place where you can really get some good evidence at. That's what Dave's about. He wants to prove the real stuff.
All right, the next pictures, I'm going to show you 3 in sequence here. So they're pointed out by arrows. Okay, there's one right at the tip of the arrow. Second shot. Third shot. So where is this taken, Bear? And
this is in the barn. This was taken, believe it or not, last weekend.
Really?
Yep, we had. We were in the barn. It was taken by an outside. I was sitting between. There's a table there and so forth, and it's about 30 feet to the other side of that, so you can't see me at all in front of this picture. And all of the novices were sitting in front of me, and then Billy Sims, Night Stalker, my partner, crime brother for many years, 30 years doing this. He is standing in front of the barn door, so we have a buffer between. And this one novice hunt, this novice at the hunt, we instruct them, as I said earlier, 3 photos, take 3, and she takes 3. And if you go back to the very first one, notice that something is starting to appear where the arrow is, and you see it has like a projection, like a horn or something coming out of it, right?
Yeah, I
and
thought
you can
that
see the body forming there.
Yeah, I was looking at that like a slat of wood or something.
I thought that too until you see the second picture. Notice how it's coming out of its head. And this one is starting to fill out the thing, and then he decides to make a very loud growl and turns around and looks directly at us. And there's nothing between him and us except for about 25 feet.
Way to hold your ground, brother.
Right.
You're holding your ground.
Sometimes we like to get a little closer if we can. Got some Bigfoot stories like that, but I got to tell you something. You get the presence, and when your body gets that feeling, pick up and go. You're going to get pick up and go, but we try to hang in there as long as we can.
Little fight or flight. So,
Exactly.
Okay. Next slide up. At the tip of the arrow, looks like somebody's playing peekaboo with you.
Exactly. This is a series of, and I think I have the other picture. I was, this was just the Night Stalkers on a free night. The hall wasn't doing anything, and Billy Sims and myself and Beth Allen were down at the hall, and this was taken in an area where this is the basement, and this is taken after I took this other shot, which you'll see here shortly. But
you're using a full spectrum camera here.
This is full spectrum right here.
Yeah.
And you can see that above the light, that's IR flash. The snowman looking thing is IR.
Right.
And also, but this thing that's hanging and peeking over is a hooded figure. And
Now, is that a cannon in there?
That is a cannon.
All right.
That is, and one of the things that you can see behind that cannon, it almost looks like there's another shadow figure on the back part of the wall sitting behind that cannon.
Mm-hmm.
But
so I'll go on to the next shot because this is pretty bizarre.
It is. This is me sitting on the staircase going down, looking into the tack room. I watched this before I took this picture. And it's really funny. I see this mist coming out of the wall, and you can see how whatever this is behind her, and it starts to form, and it forms up, and then I snap the shot, and I take another one, and it's all blurred out, but she is actually looking directly at me when I take that picture. Mm-hmm. And this lady here has been seen in the basement by other investigators. Sometimes she is on her stomach, crawling down the wall, looking like she makes that appearance of like a snake almost coming down the wall.
Now, any guesses on the identity at all, or is that just speculative?
You know, we were talking a little bit earlier, Ken and George, about how people can bring stuff with them. You know, we have a lot of veterans that come in. We had a gentleman who was over at Afghanistan, and he was definitely probably affected with that by much, and he was in the caves. I'm not sure if he didn't drop this lady off, and she's part jinn.
Okay.
I say that loosely. You're probably smiling at me and everything else, but that's what I get out of that. And
sure, why not?
Yeah,
why
I
not?
don't think that's anywhere else because people do carry stuff with them, and they do jump off, and they can jump off in your building easy. And sometimes we have to get rid of those certain things. So, but yeah, I would say that may possibly be that. That's the way I explain it, because it's not period dress. It's not anything else. I don't know what that is. It feels female to me. And I know one thing, she's got some real bony arms.
For sure. Olive oil.
But it still keeps coming out. The amazing thing about it is, as you can see the oven behind it, which she kind of blocks off, and see it coming out of wall continually. It's like she's just dragging it out. So there's a lot more to her than just kind of standing there. That to me is one of those pictures that it's a precious picture, but it's one that will make you think. I'm not what that is at all.
It doesn't seem like, you know, if that is a spirit, it's a full manifestation at that point, or maybe it's something that's not really in human form.
Right. Maybe it's
it appears to be.
Yes, it does appear to be, but it may not be. That's the question.
Keep your place there. Keep your place there, Ken, and so you don't lose it. I'm going to pull this up. So again, now go back to that picture.
Yeah.
That's wild.
The head covering is what you're probably referring to. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I wouldn't even want to like think about. Oh, now, by the way, Bear, you got a gin in there. You know, good luck with that. Have a great night.
Right, exactly. Welcome to Bear's World.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Well, the next shot, you're going to have to help me out with this one. I believe we're looking at something under the table.
This is an odd shot, and the person who took this, and I put this in here because people use filters all the time, and I hate it. And this is kind of distorted from the original picture also. But it is in the dining room, and she was her dog just passed, and she took the picture, and it's got a gold filter on it, which doesn't make any sense. I love to see pictures just regular when you're doing.
Yeah, it's not doing you any favors. I mean, that chair to the left looks like something Shaq would sit on.
Right, exactly. That is actually the period piece. The table's too big, actually, and that's the thing. The picture is distorted right there. It might have gotten cropped or something when I sent it to you. I didn't mean to send it to you that way, but that's just a regular chair. But the entity or whatever this is actually sitting there. It's got a triangle head kind of looking thing. I'll have to resend this to you so that you can clarify that, because I'd like you to take a look at that, because it looks like in one of the pictures, and you know how Paradia is and everything else, but it looks like there's a child sitting to the left of it. And this way it's very distorted. So I apologize for that one. But it is something that is in front of the chairs, and it's in the dining room. And what it is, I don't know. And it doesn't seem to be caused by any light anomaly or something wrong with the camera.
The pareidolia in me immediately looks at it and says, "Oh, that's one of the terror dogs from Ghostbusters."
You know, exactly.
Yeah, certainly non-human.
Yeah, certainly non-human. Yes,
it's just the shape there. It's like an octopus in a way. It's just really bizarre.
Yeah.
It's stretched out, but you'll see it sitting there. It looks like I have a Slimer, kind of like, if you can imagine Slimer with Pterodon. Pterodon is perfect.
Right. All right. So let's see. I got about 7 minutes left here. So you're going to have to help me out with this one.
Okay.
Is that live and Memorex? It looks like somebody in a wedding dress, and then
I will tell you exactly what this is.
Okay.
This is one that floors me. A lot of people go to the front of the hall and in their driveway, and you can see part of the fence, and they love to take pictures of the hall from that angle. So you get the fence post, and you get the front of the hall and everything. Well, she takes a picture. That's my pickup truck sitting there, and I'm actually having lunch in the dang thing. While she's out here doing it. She was the only lady that showed up during that period of time. And she left, didn't even know she got this picture, and she sent it, and she says, "Was there a lady in a white dress walking around?" And I says, "No, ma'am, you were the only lady."
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. So that's not,
that
as far
as
you know, a living person.
That is not a living person as far as I know. It is walking down the brick walkway to the house, following that brick walkway. She did not see the other individual. So when I sent back the pictures to her to show her what I wanted to show her, I circled it. So I circled the lady, and I circled the shadow figure that's also watching her. And it's one of those incredible things, middle of the day, 11:30, about 12 o'clock, and you're catching a full body apparition and a shadow figure in the same photo.
Caramba. All right, so we got about 4 minutes. We got about 4. Holy crap! Yeah, right, Melissa. I thought somebody was taking wedding pictures there. So I want to get to this. There's a sequence. We got about 4 minutes left. Cryptids.
Sure. Yeah.
This might be interesting to some of these folks out here.
We have seen dogmen, Bigfoot, several different varieties of things, and some things that I don't even think are classified. Sphinx has had some, and you know how Dave is on that.
Yeah.
And as I said, he likes to come to the hall just to be shy. Big footprint we found out in the back. Largest dog man print I think I've ever seen. Yeah, that's definitely a big one. And here's another Bigfoot print.
Yeah, I'm going to run through them again here because
three.
Not only do you have spirits,
and that was almost.
Yeah, go ahead.
We got the whole gamut. Like I said earlier, yeah, a large bird creature, as Soul and Blaze is saying right there, and that is kind of the way it is, because you wouldn't believe the reports and the things that people have seen and have talked about there at the hall. And we have wide light anomalies, as I mentioned earlier. We have UFOs that come through there. Aliens we've seen. I don't know if you guys have ever had the encounter of seeing a glimmer person before, but it's been seen at the hall several times. Many people have witnessed it. Mark Holland from PGRI, who was on here earlier, has that's one of the things I love, sitting back and talking to Mark, because he's been there so many times, and we have all the same experiences. And it's so good to be able, there's nothing better than when you can talk to somebody and they've had the same experience you have.
Yeah. Now I'm counting at least 10 spirits, a djinn, and Bigfoot. Right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. They're there. Now, when I talk about spirits and people talk about it, because of so many people and the tragedies that happened in the home, you have to remember that when the Confederates came, there was a lot of individuals that were wounded, and they did amputations there. Many of the men, arms and legs are buried on the property. Then you also have people that died from that. You have people that were coming from Bowling Green in the wagons that were wounded, that didn't make it. They're buried on the property. Then you have the Union coming in 2 days later and dispatching and killing all of the Confederate wounded that are there, burying them in mass graves on the property.
Incredible.
Okay, quick.
Then you have other scrimmages all around the property continuing on. You've got a reconstruction and a lot of death, a lot of tragedy.
Unbelievable.
So we always kind of say, and I don't know how many, as we keep going back, it scares me every time we bring Grand.
You guys are like the Buckies of the paranormal there. You got a little bit of everything.
Thank you.
and with that, we're getting
jerky down there.
Yeah, we're getting the signal from Bill. We are over time, but I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight, Barry, and giving us an insight of Octagon Hall. Now, do me a favor, don't hang up yet, but we're going to end the session here for our Patreon members. Tomorrow night, guys, we will see you at the Town Hall, 8 p.m. Eastern. And for those of you watching tonight for the first time, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We'll see you in about a week and coming up on Halloween. But in the meantime, on behalf of Ken DaCosta, my name is George Lopez. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Have a good night.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad. After her there ain't no coming back. Wanna take a run at that. I think she's feeling me, turn it up a few degrees. My imagination